Gentlemen, welcome to your HSBN Media Day press conference. Coach, if you could just start by introducing yourself and also the players you have at the table with you.
Name is Coach Las Fundora. This is junior infielder Elvin Granado. I was waiting for you to say it.
Oh, okay.
Senior outfielder Anthony Hernandez and senior infielder Luis Ruiz.
Coach, if you could just start by sharing with us a little bit of your background and your history and kind of your love for Brito. I know that this is a program you've really put your heart and soul into it.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna start. I played there from my 10th to 12th grade year. Then once I went to college, I also stuck around and helped out coaching. And then after that, I've been there for, in total, about 20 years. There was 3 years where I was actually out from school as far as teaching and so on. But I still stayed in and helped out coaching, playoffs and stuff like that.
And you say playoffs, Brito is one of the more accomplished programs in Miami-Dade. You've been a part of, numerous state titles. Talk about that, in regards to this year's players and how you can kind of relate to them to make them understand that that's kind of the standard and what it's like to experience something like that, because these guys haven't been there yet with you.
Well, actually, we have one that was. He actually was, what year, 8th grade?
Oh,
his 8th grade year. He was
corrected. Nice.
Yeah,
so maybe we'll get it from his point of view then. Tell us a little bit about what it's like playing at Brito and kind of that championship standard.
Well, for us it's a big thing. Like we're always if they always want us. Well, they say we're the top, so they always expect us to go there. So it's like a really big, they say like if you don't make it, then they're really disappointed. So we gotta always try our best.
You guys set a pretty high standard. Last year was I gotta say must have been a little bittersweet because when your big rival went on to win this state championship. What was that like for you guys?
You know what? I guess it was their turn to do it. So. We look at the overall picture of stuff. I mean, it was more disappointing for us being that it's been, I guess, like 3 years since we haven't been to the state championship, which is what we concentrate on. As far as other teams, I mean, yeah, they're considered rivals, but as expected, that other teams are gonna be there and win. I mean, I think we have. By far, as far as 2A, I know things are changing next year. But as far as 2A, definitely by far our region is the toughest one. So, it's kind of expected whatever team comes out of our district or our region will probably end up winning a state title.
Yeah, I think it's been like 6 or 7 straight years that's been the case, that the 2A state champion has come from your region.
Correct. I think it might be a little, around there.
Could even be more than
that.
that.
It could be.
I know Trinity Christian up in Deltona was the last 2A that didn't win it from that region, and that was like 2013 or 14.
I think it was 13. No, probably, 13.
Sometime around then, yeah. What does that mean to you guys as players? I mean, obviously they're your rivals, but it's almost like they still represented the region, and I know you guys are friends with a lot of the guys in these other teams, and it seems like it's more of a friendly rival. Was there a lot of a focus, or did it even matter to you guys at all to see them, get their first time?
Well, it did matter because we lost to them like 3 times, so we were like, we got to do better next season.
Is that something you guys is that kind of your motivating rally cry this year? I guess is hey, we got to take it back from them.
Yeah.
And again, speaking about the district, Coach, it's gotten a little smaller now. It's back down to only 4 teams this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. But pretty strong. I know Miami Christian's solid as always. I think year in, year out, we're a pretty solid ball club ourselves. And Champagnat got much better from what I've heard and seen. So it's competitive. Out of 4 teams, you have 3 really strong teams. So it's going to be an interesting season. I mean, we definitely go in there every year expecting to be on top, but it's really up to coaches and our players to be focused and get it done.
Share with me a little bit about that focus. What's been kind of the rally cry of the team this year to get you guys where you want to be at the end of the season?
I think the last couple of years we've kind of let ourselves down. We haven't done what we think we're capable of. We know that we're a talented team. We know that all we have to do is just put in that work, and I think we'll see some results.
Do you see maybe a little more focus from this year's group saying, man, it's 3 years, it's almost a drought at Brito?
Yeah, there's definitely a sense of urgency this year. It's every year we're expected to be that team that represents Division 2A in the state championship.
Looking at your guys' schedule too. One of the things that I know you guys always play up, but
Right.
maybe we just focus on that about how you guys prepare for that playoff run by the teams that you play during the season.
Right, that's basically our goal. Every game we play, we're definitely in it to win, and we want to put out the best record possible. But our ultimate goal is to play the competition that'll prepare us to get to when we get to the playoffs. Meaning we like to play the strongest competition. Whoever's willing to play us and want to play us, we're definitely willing to play them. Because I think that's once you play that competition during the season, when you get to the playoffs, it becomes a little easier. Playoffs is always a different atmosphere. Anything can happen in one game. Things can go one way or another. But we also have the added that we have a lot of guys that, even though besides one right here in our ball club, we don't have guys that have made it to state. They're playoff ready, meaning they've gone through it you've been there like 3 years to the playoffs, 2 years, 3 years. So, they have that experience already. So, but our main focus in regular season is to play the best competition we can possibly play to get prepared for the playoffs. At the end of the day, a lot of people, you got programs that might live off rankings and stuff like that. Listen, to be quite honest, we don't even pay attention too much to rankings, because you can lose every game in the season, advance to the playoffs, and win it all.
Which in your guys' case is, you've had a little above 500 or so records and gone on to win state titles those years.
Correct. Well, last year we were maybe 2 steps away. We were in the semifinals, and I can't remember that far back, but I don't ever recall losing 13 games in the season, and we did. But yet we were in every single ball game in the playoffs, and it didn't come out our way. But really, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. What matters is getting through the playoffs and winning the ultimate prize, which is what we shoot for.
Let's talk a little bit about the start of the season. Who are some of the games we're getting out right out of the gate? How are you guys getting started?
Well, I think we haven't been bad lately, but we have to execute more. That's probably pretty much it.
One of the other things that I noticed about your schedule, which I thought was pretty cool, is that you guys are playing a lot of games on college fields this year. Is especially with a program like yours that sends a lot of guys to college, and again makes it to the playoffs every year. How much does that help to kind of get used to playing on those larger college fields and that bigger environment that comes with it sometimes?
Oh, 110%. It makes a huge difference. In fact, fields are very important, not just, obviously when they get to the next level, that's the kind of fields they're playing in. Also, our goal every year, or what we expect, is to be there. And when you play in a state tournament, you're playing in professional fields. So college and professional fields and big fields is very important, because, I've seen through the years probably a lot of ball clubs, a lot of schools where they have their small field, and when they get to the state tournament, the whole game changes on them. They've been dominant all year, and then they have a tough time adjusting to a bigger field. I mean, that's very important. I tell these guys sometimes, these guys hit the ball in the nose sometimes, and someone's picking it up in the warning track, and they're like, oh man, why can't we play in so-and-so field? Some guy has like 20 home runs, and say, listen, that doesn't mean it's going to the next level. You want to get to the next level, you want to do things this way. That's what counts. Is not from a warning track you're going to hit one out, and that's going to make a difference. Outfield play, very important. So when you play in small fields and then you get to the state tournament, you got more ground to cover. Where do you position yourself? Cutoffs, everything. It's a major difference. So for us, it's like a blessing that we're able to play in college fields, and and bigger fields around the county.
Is that something that you guys as players think about, that aspect of it very much?
Well, I really don't think about that. I just play the ball. There's no recognize that.
Yeah, that's
Go
more of
ahead,
a
play.
coaching aspect where you know,
Right,
those are the
yeah,
little
yeah,
tinkers you
yeah.
do
I
to
don't
help get
expect
them
that.
ready.
They don't think about it until they hit a ball 400 feet and it doesn't go out. That's the only time they think about it.
Tell me a little bit about your guys' roster this year. You know, if they're, obviously these guys are some of your veterans. Is it a very veteran group? Is there a lot of new guys on the team this year?
I would say we have maybe, I would say like 4 or 5 guys, 4 or 5 new guys. You know, but that's about it. So it's a veteran group. It's a group that I'm very excited for the regular season and for the season to kick off, because it's a group of guys that obviously got a little taste already of what it's like, and now they have that little bit more of that fire and determination to realize it takes that little extra. You know, maybe last year some of those guys were younger, and maybe you slack off a little bit in practice or you go through the motions, but this year the focuses are completely different, and the guys are busting their rear ends from beginning to end of practice, and they understand that, you know, it's better to work hard now than having at the end of the season be in tears in a corner talking about what I could have done. So, you know, you can't change that, but now you need to do something to make sure that doesn't happen again. So it's been, I'm very excited this year. Very excited to see
I
what's
guess
gonna
from a
happen.
player point of view, you know, like you said, you're the guy that's had the biggest taste on the team. You can relate more than anybody to, like Coach is saying, what it takes to get there, you know. What are some of the things that you do to try and relate, especially to some of the younger players, and kind of make them understand what's needed to be done to get to that point?
Well, mostly paying attention to the game, trying to pick up signs and all of that. Like, don't lose your focus, because that's mostly, like, these past few years, we've been, like, slacking off. Like, let's say we start good, but then at the end we lose our focus because, you know, the game's going and going. So I'm just trying to keep them focused.
And I know tradition, again, through the program that's won a lot, you know, is that something you guys think about much? Is you know, I'm playing for Brito and some of the legacies and traditions that we do there, is that something you focus on much?
Every day. Every day we step onto that field, we try to represent this name and continue a tradition that has led to one of our players being the highest signed, like, free agent ever. We try to represent this school with honor and pride, and we try to keep the Brito name untarnished.
Yeah, it's, like you said, it's true. Manny Machado, he just signed that deal, am I right?
Yeah. Pocket change.
It's gotta, you know, what does that mean to you guys, you know, as a player, to know that, hey, this guy's just signed the biggest contract in Major League history, and he used to wear that same uniform you're wearing?
Yeah, I feel very good because that's the school I went to, and I feel really good about it.
Does it make it easier to maybe envision yourself maybe someday doing the same thing, knowing that he started right where you started?
Yeah, I know, and he played the same base, so that makes me want to look up to him a lot.
Does he come around much? Do you? I know usually.
It's tough to come around. He does stay in contact here and there. I mean, it's, you know, people sometimes forget that, you know, it's your responsibilities are different and you have much, but he does get in contact with me. He does, and he always says wishes well to the boys and all. I'm sure the boys are dying to see him, of course, but, you know, it's one of those things.
And at least he's got HSBN to keep an eye on you guys.
Yeah.
Talk about, is there any guys that have signed yet this year, or are there guys that are getting looks? I mean, I know usually you have guys going to college, maybe even some guys that might get drafted.
I think all our seniors besides one already signed with colleges, and the one kid is just had like Tommy John surgery.
So how many guys is that? How many?
We have, is that 8 seniors?
8 seniors, I think.
Eight seniors. Yeah.
That's a pretty, that's a large number. Talk about that kind of standard at your school, having that many guys going on to the next level. Oh
yeah, you know, it's a big deal for us, obviously, but like I always said, it comes from them. You know, their talent, their ability, and our job, pretty much as a program, as coaches, is to make sure that they get exposed, get that opportunity to do so. I mean, at the end of the day, you know what? They're the ones with the talent. You know, our job's to polish them a little bit and help them out through the process. but it is a big deal. It is a big deal, and I think we do that year in, year out, and that is possibly what our highest standard as far as the program is. You know, I think our job as coaches and educators is to prepare these kids for the next level, for them to have an opportunity. You know, I know personally we deal with a lot of kids that this is the way, you know, the opportunity. You know, they come from families that are not too well off, so their opportunity to get an education at a higher level is through sports. You know, and the ability to do so, it means the world to us as a school and as a program, because guess what, you know, now these kids have a chance to make it somewhere. And I'm not talking about the game of baseball. That's a blessing if you get there. It's a pyramid. It's hard to get to the top, but you know what, you're able to get your education and be somebody positive in life and be able to take care of your family later on. So, you know, that it's a very big deal for us.
And are any of the guys here at the table, have any of you guys signed? So you've signed as well, right?
Savannah State and Point Park. He's only a junior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe from a player point of view, you know, especially being a guy that's been playing for Brito for so many years, what did it mean to you to be able to sign this year, and especially with so many of your teammates there doing the same thing?
Well, for me, it's awesome. It's awesome that I know that I'm going somewhere really good to get my education, and you know, my teammates also. And it takes a lot of pressure from off the season. You know, like of course I want to do great, but it's also like a lot. It's taking like it's easier to know that I'm already going somewhere.
Any thoughts from yourself? Same thing.
Yeah, I just think it makes you play with less of a. You're less worried about trying to get to a college. You just know that you have that set, and your only focus is just to help this team win.
Yeah, it seems like it's one less distraction, and it's a nice one to kind of get out the way.
Yeah, you try to have more fun.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's all the questions that I had for you here today. Here's to having more fun. I appreciate you guys coming out as always, and have a great season. Hopefully we'll do this again up at the state tournament at the end of the year.
Awesome.
Hopefully.
I hope so.
Yeah.